Alright, looking good. So we have our two players down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. It is our red Protoss player, Grent, hailing from Team ROH, and his opponent, the blue Terran up in the top right-hand corner of the map. It is MG's own Reap. We may see Reapers out of him. There's no gas first, but there goes the barracks. Waiting a little bit for that. It's rather unfortunate after the after the buff time, or actually it was a nerf to the barracks time. Added an additional 5 seconds to create that, as well as the whole you need a supply depot in order to build your barracks long, long ago. I guess upwards of 2 years ago. At this point was the patch. And we do have not one but two additional SCVs coming down here to stop the probe from continuing his harassment. Getting in-game lag a bit. Alright, things seem to have sorted out now. And we do have a Nexus coming down here. So this is going to be Nexus first, so I'm kind of interested to see how he's going to follow this up. We have a variety of different openings that Protoss can do following. Oh wow, it's actually going to be a Forge Fast expand. Nice. This is something that Oz utilized in the GSL a while ago at this point, like 6-7 months ago. Troy started using it a little bit in the GSTL, and it caught on there for a little bit, but on anything but Ohana, we very rarely see this used in PBT. It can really prevent almost any kind of early one base aggression that Terran might kind of try and throw to stop this Nexus first. So I've always thought it was a very good build. It does delay your Cyber, which delays your Warp Gate, but I mean, if you're in a position like this, especially on a map with as tight of a choke here, it's a good build to start off with. You can always add another cannon or two. And we do have two additional. This is going to be a very standard game. We have one barracks, FE, followed up by two additional barracks, and we should see two gas here relatively soon. The next kind of turning point in the Terran's infrastructure is whether or not he's going to get two reactors, or if it's going to be Reactor Tech Lab when the time does come to pop add-ons on those additional barracks. Double gas here for the Protoss player. And there's the Cyber. See, like 5 minutes just getting your Cyber down now. It's very late compared to a regular opening. Double gas for the Terran player just finishing up at this point. I'm kind of interested. Alright, so Reap hasn't scouted at all. He could even take a relatively fast third base in reaction to this before he got gas. He could just be saying, you know what, I am a better late game player than you. I am confident in my mechanics, confident that I can win this game. So I don't really need to scout. As long as I defend whatever all-in you may throw at me, don't need to worry about all that much. And this, having said that, I mean, this is a ridiculously standard opening that's good against anything. There's not going to be a build out there, aside from maybe a Blink all-in on some maps. Cloud Kingdom is actually one of them that can pose a threat to this if it does go unscouted. Alright, the robotics facility goes down right as we have a scan from the Terran player. That's actually really nice timing there. Grant can be, Reap can be quite happy about that. I like this supply depot positioning. It gives the Zealots a little bit less area to try and surround this bunker with. It does impact how your opponent can force field the area. It kind of creates like little mini force fields, so you're forced to lower them at some point if you do want SCVs to repair and get full surface area off on that. But the factory is coming down now, as well as an engineering bay at very standard times. No additional add-ons quite yet. This is very defensive. The fact that he hasn't gotten add-ons yet, it shows that he is kind of scared. But after scouting what he did, I mean, let's see what he saw exactly with this scan. Alright, so he saw the Forge. Because of the timing on this, you can most likely assume it's going to be some sort of Forge Fast expand. And he saw an additional gate going down. The Protoss player is playing ridiculously economic focused at this point. 47 probes, he's spending the majority of his chrono boost on his Nexi. And we do have a robotics bay coming down now, so he does want to use Colossus to transition as his first tech choice. Eventually, if the game goes long enough, we will see both Colossi and High Templar out on the field. First Observer making its way across the map now as well. A Stalker at the forward watchtower, but still, I mean, Reap doesn't have any information. He has that one scan, and that's pretty much it. But soon enough, Grant will actually have a fair amount of scouting info here. Alright, so the factory has completed. Oh, and is actually going to go for Barracks 4 and 5. Nice. This is something that Bomber and actually a lot of Terran players were doing around April of this year, May, April. It's fallen out of favor on some maps, but it's still pretty common on Cloud, Entombed, and Daybreak. That you can try and make those extra barracks work for you. Alright, so there's double gas going down here as well too. So this indicates that he's going to go for some sort of 2-base push. There is a pretty strong timing off of 2-base that Terran can hit with a couple SCVs. If their opponent does go for this Colossi tech, that you just go for enough Vikings to deal with the Colossi, pull your SCVs, and just try and break your opponent's front line. And there is a probe going out here, so... Oh, it's just for a drop defense pylon. Or I guess drop scout pylon. Alright, so both players pretty even in supply, and on economy they're relatively even too. About a 10 worker lead for the Protoss player, but that can be taken care of with a couple mules. And we do have the third base coming down, so it will not be an all-in. He just wants to play it a little bit safe, have the opportunity to put on a little bit more pressure than he would normally so with only 3 barracks. And he will go ahead and actually block the third Nexus location with this factory and push out with his first 2 medevac fours. At this point, he will have known, yep, my opponent's going for Colossi. He did have vision of that one Colossi, and with only Marines on the field, he does need to get out of there. Of course, you can run in and snipe them if the 2 sentries weren't there, but sentries and Colossi pretty good against Marines, I have to say. So we do have the Viking switch and an additional starport. I really like this choice. He's going pretty reactor heavy here with 2. This is a standard composition though. Very rarely do you ever see 3 or 4 tech labs in 1 reactor off of 5 barracks in this matchup. It's very, very strange. So the Observer has gotten a full scout off. He has not yet seen the third base though. That's something pretty crucial, as well as the next starport. Something we've seen Squirtle do recently, and really stick to it, is this making 1 or 2 Colossi, not getting Lance, and then going for straight up High Templar to try and punish your opponent for going for a 2-base or 3-base timing. But, I mean, Grant, his upgrades are ridiculous. He's been chrono boosting those forges like mad this entire time, and he really doesn't have that many gates worth of production. He's relying on these Colossi to provide all the damage necessary to keep his opponent at bay and not allow him to attack up into this force. Right now we do see Terran player here for MG at around a 20 supply lead. Oh, unfortunately the factory is getting reconstructed due to the fact that he cannot continue on with his upgrades. He does not have an armory on the field, and the scouting factory was indeed destroyed. We have an observer sniper over there. Let's take a look at the work tab again. Alright, so 70 probes against 52 SCVs. It's actually a pretty good spot for the Protoss player. I'm sure he'll lose a couple of the drops here and there. That'll probably even her out around 65. It's a very, very good spot to be. You can be happy with that. Meanwhile, we do have... Oh, shoot. Yeah, I don't... was he misrallied or mis-waypointed? Something happened there that was not to Reed's liking. It says medevac. Full of Marines just got sniped. And here the Terran player is looking to push up here. Ooh, stimming forward. There are only 2 sentries, and they're very, very far back. But with only 3 Vikings against 4 Colossi, we'll see how this engagement turns out here. Yeah, Colossi turns out are pretty good against Marines. With the blink forward, blink completing in the nick of time here, he will be able to get the medevacs as well. A little bit of a stim through into his opponent's production. He will be able to scout the Robotics Bay and the Twilight Council, but that's not really telling him much. He saw Blink, he saw the 2 forges earlier. Oh, he does get knowledge of the Templar switch eventually, but there aren't any Templars on the field. And after he cleans this up, Krent's in a position to hit a ridiculously strong counter timing. It's a lone Marauder is deciding to be a hero out at the third base of our Protoss player, but still with 4 Colossi in the field. One did fall, unfortunately. Oh wow, I don't think he got a cancel off on that. Quite unfortunate. And I love this pylon placement. Since there was opted to go for a orbital command here instead of a planetary, you can really abuse this with a couple Stalkers, Zealot, Warpins. Especially when you're pushing either the natural here or you're trying to defend a counter push by the Terran. It's so strong to just rally a couple Warpin, rally a couple Zealots down there, and have them just dismantle all of the SCVs. ROH is Renegades of Hell. MG is Metagamers. Metagamers or Metagaming? I think it's Metagamers. And this is a ridiculously scary force. Normally you wouldn't want this many Stalkers with your composition, but when you already have this many Colossi out in the field, it's not like the Terran player can just go Mass Marauder and screw this up. Oh, and he's going straight for the orbital command. It will fall, no repair. It wouldn't really do much anyway, and working already off of a 30 supply lead. However, this Viking fleet is really not being dealt with in time, and all the Colossi do fall. And now is when the Marauders can really go to town. There's only one Immortal in this mixture, and Stalkers are just Marauder meat. Unfortunately, overstimming these bio units really cost Reap a lot of health. And with a 4th base completing at this point, it's already done. 73 probes to 48 SCVs. Grant and ROH have a ridiculously strong lead in Game 1. What are the upgrades on right now? Yeah, it's 1-1 to 2-2. We have 3-3 on the way here for Protoss. And it looks like Reap is actually moving forward to try and cut into the forces of his opponent. A couple High Templar warped in to make an Archon. And this is still pretty Stalker heavy, only 1 cannon here for defense, but with Charge finishing relatively soon, he should be in a good spot to defend this. I mean, look how injured the forces of the Terran player are. He does still need to be careful, so sacrificing this Nexus is worth the cause if it's not going to lose in the game. Losing all of his units there and not having the ability to produce any more AoE units within the next like 10 seconds or so is a game-ending decision if that does go awry. But we do have a single Zealot coming in here. Will it get a chance to snipe that SCV? I don't think so. Yes, it's very smart rallying your additional forces here when you don't have any sort of defense via a planetary fortress. I really like the pylon positioning throughout the map as well. So I mean, MG, despite the fact that the Reap was really down on Econ for a little bit, it's now going to be, the next engagement at least, will be a maxed on maxed fight. It will be 3-3 to 2-2. Our Protoss player will have Charge and Blink finished, as well as both Colossi and a couple Archons thrown into his army. And Storm is complete. He just needs to build the required energy. So it's going to come down to control of this battle. The Protoss player does have an innate advantage, but Terran player's not out of it yet, but pretty good storms on the ramp there. Catch Reap off guard. Ouch. Pretty nice pre-split here, and the charge lots are actually caught behind some of the Stalkers. Moving in here, only one more storm to his name. It does go down, but the Zealots are just crushing through everything. One Colossus does still remain on the field, and the Stalkers are just going to work on the medevacs here. So many units for the Protoss. He doesn't even lose 30 supply, and that is good game.